All right, greetings, good evening. Mark Dixon here in the Channel 3 WFSB First Alert Forecast Center with Tyler Hughes.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing well. So you've been here a matter of hours, coming in on 8 hours now.
Yeah.
Joined you shortly
things have
thereafter.
Changed quite a bit. I came in, it was dry, not a speck of snow out there, and now it's a much different scene. We'll call it that.
Got snow statewide and some totals that have been coming in pretty impressive.
Yes, and so these are the latest totals we're getting in from the Weather Service right now. And in a moment, actually, you and I are going to split up. I'll go work on updating some of these graphics so that we can put them in at 10 and 11 when we're on.
Sounds good.
But 7 inches,
all right,
which is in, I believe, New Fairfield. 6.5 in Waterbury, and getting other reports between 6 and 6.5 inches in the New Milford area as well. So already over half a foot in some places in western Connecticut. And there's a lot more snow still left to fall.
And that's the part of the state that we've been highlighting that we'll likely see the most by the time we get to tomorrow morning. By tomorrow morning.
Up to a foot in some spots.
Yeah, up to a foot of snow. So by far our biggest event so far of the season.
Right.
For quite a while since we've seen statewide snow, plowable amounts across Connecticut. So we'll start off with our weather alerts for you across the state. We've got winter storm warnings in effect for almost the entirety of Connecticut, with the exception Tolland and Windham counties. The winter weather advisory level just below that winter storm warning criteria. So not as much snow expected there in the northeastern corner of Connecticut. It is 9 o'clock. We're here on WFSB Plus, also on our YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us. Long form extended coverage on Winter Storm Abraham. So this storm will be with us for many more hours to go. As we get past midnight, at least the worst of it will start to be in our rearview mirror with snow tapering to scattered showers as we head toward daybreak. So between now and 9 o'clock, that's now, from southwest to northeast, snow has been overspreading the state. And then between 9 and 1 a.m., this is when we're expecting these snowfall rates 1 to 2 inches an hour, perhaps even greater than that. And it's all going to be winding down as we head toward daybreak tomorrow. So impacts across Connecticut. So we're talking about heavy snow, not necessarily in its weight. It's going to be light and fluffy snow, but the rate at which it's falling is heavy, and that's going to reduce visibility greatly. We've already seen that, and given the heavy rate, the quick rate of snowfall, that snow is going to be adding up rather quickly too. So leading to poor visibility, leading to hazardous travel. We initially were watching on the DOT cameras in southwest Connecticut, snow quickly coming down, adding up, impacting travel there on 95, and then eventually in Danbury around 84. We'll show you those coming up in just a moment, but certainly poor visibility in tandem with hazardous travel with the slick conditions. If there's a silver lining, in addition to the light, fluffy nature of the snow that will make it easy to remove, the wind is not a major issue. So we're not expecting any sort of power outage concern with this particular storm system from Winter Storm Abraham. Now, we are calling it Abraham because it's our first named storm of the season. This is a tradition that dates back to 1971 for us here at WFSB in the days of the Travelers Weather Service. So a tradition that we are proud to carry on over 5 decades later. We have to be forecasting at least 6 inches of snow for most of Connecticut, and or half an inch of ice accretion. With this system, at least for Connecticut, we're looking at snow from beginning to end, and many communities, again, as Tyler was just alluding to, already eclipsing the 6-inch mark. So over half a foot of snow for parts of western Connecticut. All right, so our theme this year is first names of former presidents. So that's why Abraham, as in Abraham Lincoln. All right, so check out these DOT cameras. Upper left-hand corner is Stamford along I-95. Greenwich, also along I-95. Upper right-hand corner, Darien, I-95 as well. And Bridgeport, I-95. So initially, it took a while for the snow to reach Bridgeport. Now it's clearly there. You can see people driving with their hazard lights on, the poor visibility, the snow-covered interstate, and that's really a common theme all throughout not only Fairfield County now, but really throughout all of Connecticut. Because next we'll take you here, upper left-hand corner, Waterbury, so that's 84. And then we've got Hartford, I-91 there. You can see the sequence of plows coming through in tandem with each other, doing their thing, clearing Interstate 91 south of Weston Street overpass. So, it's not necessarily a good time to be outdoors. So if you can stay inside until, say, midday tomorrow, certainly a good idea to do so. So Danbury there, 84 in the bottom left-hand part of your screen. And then we've got Tolland in northeastern Connecticut, northeast of Hartford there on 84 as well, exit 68. So snow-covered main thoroughfare. So that means those secondary, those tertiary roads, certainly even worse off than the main road. So that's why it's a good idea to be inside and enjoying this storm from indoors. All right, so we've been looking at those DOT cameras from across Connecticut, and here's a look at the visibility. Finally dropping in Putnam to around 4.5 miles there, but Willimantic nearby, quarter-mile visibility. That's what we're expecting to soon work into Putnam as the rate of snow will be increasing there, moving into the quiet corner of northeastern Connecticut. Up and down the 91 corridor, visibility ranging from a quarter to a half mile. Windsor Locks, Hartford, Meriden, New Haven. Along the shoreline, quarter-mile visibility at all of our reporting stations there, Bridgeport, New Haven, Groton. So all across Connecticut, visibility not good given the heavy nature of that snow. And we are, of course, talking about all snow. We've got temperatures from the cloud all the way to the ground, below freezing, in fact, at the surface. We've got 15 to 20 degrees now inland and low and mid-20s along the shoreline. So that colder air is why we are expecting the lighter, fluffier snow as opposed to temperatures closer to freezing that would lead to a heavy, wetter snow. All right, so check a First Alert live radar, and you can see across the state these deeper shades of blue correlating to those waves of moderate to heavy snow moving through. Again, snowfall rates in excess of 1 inch an hour, perhaps as much as 2 inches an hour. So a little bit wider view here. Take it back a little bit closer look here at home. You can see the snow overspreading Connecticut. Looks like we may get a little bit of a lull here. We've got a break in the action coming in from northern parts of New Jersey and the lower Hudson Valley of New York. So we'll be monitoring that. No, for the New York City metro area, there's been a little mixing, some icing there to where the snowfall totals may not be as great as what we may see across parts of western Connecticut. So a little bit wider view here. Got the system moving through the northeast. Okay, First Alert Futurecast. As we head past midnight toward daybreak tomorrow, you can see how the snow really breaks up in coverage and also in intensity, becoming more scattered, if not isolated in nature as we head towards 7 o'clock. So big time improvement as you get up and start the day tomorrow. And by, say, late morning, early afternoon, we could see some partial clearing at least, turning brighter as the afternoon progresses. So for tomorrow morning, if you start your Saturday wanting to go out and do perhaps a little shoveling or plowing, a snow removal of some sort, you'll need to dress accordingly because temps will still be in the 20s statewide. So the thicker winter coat, dress in layers, the scarf, the gloves, the hat, certainly a necessity. And again, the shovel for sure. Maybe doing some snow blowing too. All right, so our snowfall forecast, 4 to 6 inches, northeastern Connecticut, 6 to 8. Hartford Metro south along 91, and for much of the Connecticut shoreline. That sweet spot, that bullseye of greater totals, western Connecticut, 8 to 12 inches for southwestern Litchfield County, northwestern New Haven County, inland portions of Fairfield County. So that's where we've already seen upwards of half a foot of snow, and we could see totals close in on 10 to 12 inches by the time everything wraps up. So we'll take you on a little tour here across Connecticut from our iCams, Windsor Locks. At 18 degrees, northeast wind at 3 miles an hour. Visibility improving a little bit here from Torrington, at least compared to other locations, and from Waterbury. A little deceiving because we've got snowflakes covering part of the Camerlands, obscuring the view just a little bit, but otherwise 19 in the Brass City. There's our view from Hartford, where you can see a little bit here, the top of the Travelers Tower. Do interactive on here? Let's see. Top of the Travelers Tower, you can see the gold building. Typically, from this vantage point, you can see the old State House, and beyond that, the Connecticut Science Center. Beyond that, the Connecticut River Valley. But not the case tonight, given the snow that is coming down and that it's reducing that visibility. There's the view from Rocky Hill, looking out across an office park right now. So not a whole lot happening in the town of Rocky Hill. From Middletown, snow coming down from New Haven, covering the Green and the Elm City, Got the Christmas tree all aglow, certainly festive there. You can see the menorah beyond the Christmas tree. So snow covering the green. We've got snow cover really all across Connecticut now. From Old Saybrook, a little bit of a breeze along the shoreline, but again, the wind is not going to be a major factor with this with the Winter Storm Abraham. And 21 right now, looking live from New London. A little bit out of focus, but a car heading toward the camera at this point. So, and look at that, the snow coming down, captured nicely from our view there in Mystic. So visibility has dropped down to around a quarter of a mile for many spots as we head past midnight and toward daybreak tomorrow. The snow again tapering off. You can see the visibility improving big time as we head toward 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. So on our first alert 7-day forecast, some snow showers linger into very early tomorrow morning. Then we'll see some clearing through the afternoon, at least some rays of sunshine. And then as we get into Sunday, late in the day, tracking another system that basically takes a track that is a warm one relative to Connecticut. So it could start off as a little icy mix, goes over to rain. So here's first alert futurecast. We'll look at tomorrow afternoon, get some clearing gets underway. And then as we get into early Sunday morning, we'll start off with some sunshine. And then as we make our way into Sunday afternoon, cloud cover begins to overspread the state. We're dry until after sunset. And then you can see those shades of pink across Connecticut. That correlates to that chance for a little icy mix as temperatures at the surface will be at or below freezing. And we've got some warmer air aloft moving in. So that's why we could see that sleet or freezing rain at the onset. But it's a pretty small window of time before milder air moves in, transitioning any icy mix over to rain. So looking at rain into Monday morning, into Monday afternoon. So Monday temperatures head into the 40s. So some temperature swings ahead over the coming days. So Sunday again, late, we've got that mix going over to rain. Rain on Monday, highs Monday in the mid 40s, and then some colder air arrives for Tuesday. Temps likely remain below freezing. Then we've got the wind on Tuesday that will make that cold air feel even colder. And then for Wednesday, 30-35, not as windy. As we close out 2025 and kick off 2026 on Thursday, we do so with temps between 30 and 35. So first night celebrations, no big issues for us here in Connecticut Wednesday night. And then for Friday, a week from now, forecasting highs only in the mid and upper 20s under a mix of sun and clouds. So today, going into today, prior to any flakes reaching the ground, here's the latest on the snow situation for our climate reporting stations. The Hartford area only 4.1 inches so far this season, surprisingly surpassed by Bridgeport at 4.5 inches. And our deficits, again, this is before any snow fell today. We're at a half a foot deficit for the Hartford area and just over half an inch behind compared to average to date for Bridgeport. So with what is coming down now from Winter Storm Abraham will likely wipe away the deficits and flip to a surplus heading into this final weekend of 2025. So again, a sizable amount of snow on the way for us. Snowfall rates 1 to 2 inches an hour, reducing visibility. That snow really adding up quickly. And we'll take you back here to first alert radar, and you can see the snow continuing to push from west to east across Connecticut. Need to add a pause point on the beginning of this graphic. There we go, a little bit better here. So, all right. So we're here streaming on WFSB Plus. We're going to be on for probably another 30 minutes or so. Tyler Hughes is going to pop in, take the reins. We've got some new info. Love some new info.
You ready for this one?
I am ready. I will let you take the seat.
7.3 inches.
Oh, where
in I believe it was New Preston. Let me double check.
That's excellent.
Let's see if we have that graphic here. This is what I've been working on behind the scenes is, trying to pull in the latest data so that we can update you and let you know. Here we go. So that New Preston one is now 7.3.
Wow.
But the rest of these are accurate. So New Fairfield, 7 inches. Woodbury Center, Waterbury, 6.5 inches. Madison, 6 inches. Even Meriden, 5 inches of snow, which is very impressive. So while Mark was talking, this is what I've been doing behind the scenes is kind of populating some of the latest snowfall totals that we just get in. We continue to get in, and they come from all sorts of sources. I mean, we have folks at the National Weather Service, there's trained spotters through the Skywarn network, and cooperative observers as well. And so they're coming from all over the place, and we are getting more and more observations in quite literally all the time.
I guess now would be a good time to talk about how to properly measure snow.
That would be a good time to.
We would love to hear from anyone that is anyone that's watching us here on the stream.
Yes.
If you want to do your own measurements.
Yes.
We always encourage that. You need to take 3, right? 3 measurements.
3 measurements. Flat surface.
Yep.
Make sure that you haven't cleared it off since it started snowing, and it also needs to be, I forget the exact distance, but a good distance away from a building, a structure, a tree, anything like that. Yeah. So.
And then take the average of the 3.
Yeah, take the average of the 3 and send it in.
Let us know. So weather3@wfsb.com is a way to reach us via email. But you can also, if you have pictures that you want to take and share those, you can do so from the free WFSB First Alert Weather app, or if you have our news app, I believe you can also do it that way.
Or you can also send them to us, weather3@wfsb.com.
We make it easy. Whatever's convenient for you, we'll
make it work. Yeah. But why don't you actually, while I'm doing this, look and see if we've gotten any viewer photos in from the app.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
So anyway, we'll kind of reset here and get you the latest updates of what you need to know here of what's going on. Of course, there's a winter storm warning in effect pretty much the entire state right now, and for fairly obvious reasons. I mean, we've seen this began to ramp up around 5 or 6 o'clock at the earliest in the far, far southwest portions of Connecticut. Really began to ramp up between about 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock. 6, 7 for your kids out there. And so it's really been within the last 3 to 4 hours that we've seen these amounts falling. Again, 7 inches of snow or more in some places. So while we're at it, let's take a look here. Let's go back to First Alert Live Doppler radar, and let's take a look at what is going on, because there are some heavier bands of snow moving through, but also there's some areas that, things appear to be lightening up right now. And we'll use this as an example. Right down in here, in southwestern parts of Fairfield County, Norwalk through Stamford, that's where we're seeing things beginning to lighten up just a little bit. I'm going to put a pause on First Alert Live Doppler radar right now. We're actually going to just go to the latest radar image, so you can see the returns that are coming directly from First Alert Live Doppler radar. So this is the latest data we have in from our radar, which of course is the state's only live Doppler radar, and it is located out at Bradley Airport. So let's take a look and see what we have to see here. At first glance, it looks like a lot of blue, because it is, right? It's showing where the snow is. But if we zoom, look a little closer, you can see some of the bands of heavier snow and where they are. So here's one really good example right here. Enfield through Tolland and extending down into Windham. That's one of the bands of heavier snow that we're seeing at the moment. There's another one, it looks like maybe a little bit less heavy of a band, but Hartford through Norwich about. And there's another band in the New Haven area, or just leaving the New Haven area right now as well. Now, these are moving off to the north and east. We can put a little bit of a lapse on it like we were doing earlier. Let's say over the last half an hour or so. And we can play this out. And so if you see where the heaviest bands of snow are, and remember, you can always look up First Alert Live Doppler radar. We are streaming the feed live, whether it is raining, snowing, sleeting, or nothing at all, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on WFSB.com and the free First Alert weather app. You can track First Alert Live Doppler radar anytime. And so if you can see that it's moving sort of to the east-northeast here, you can time out where the heaviest of the bands are moving to. And they're moving sort of in that direction. Pardon my crude arrow there. But that also means that this pocket of potentially drier air here is also going to be moving in that direction over the next few minutes or so. And we will see how that turns out. We'll take a little bit of a wider look at radar here. let's pull up a bit of a wider view of the radar. Now, this is over the last 6 hours, but you can still see that pocket of drier air working in right about there. And this is what we call the dry slot of the area of low pressure. And where this dry slot kind of works in, we'll zoom all the way out here so I can annotate. There's my annotation tools. This is the dry slot right in here. This is an area of dry air that gets kind of wrapped up into the low pressure. So that area of dry air is heading into the New York metro area right now. And so that was what we saw on First Alert live Doppler radar working into southwest Fairfield County, that area of dry air. And so that means you may see the snow slow down or even temporarily stop in those areas. But throughout most of Connecticut right now, the snow is continuing to be ongoing and heavy at times. So let's go back through some of our cameras we have here. These are some of our traffic cameras. Notice Greenwich, for example. Stamford. It looks like the snow is at least slowing down a little bit. You can tell because visibility has improved slightly. There is still accumulation going on the roads, but that's a sign that the drier air is starting to work in there a little bit. Meanwhile, in Bridgeport, it still looks like it's snowing there pretty good. You see people with their hazards on trying to slow down on the highway. And if you have to be out on the roads right now, our suggestion, of course, would be to do the same. Slow down, leave as much extra time as you can, because this is obviously, when you have snow that comes down at such a significant rate, I mean, 2, even close to 3 inches per hour in some places, this is can really inundate the roadways, and you know, people, plow trucks can have the greatest handle on things, but still, with snowfall rates like that, you're going to get some accumulation on even treated roadways. We'll take to some more traffic cameras here. Danbury, I-84, looks like traffic is moving along there fairly well, but you can see the accumulation on the road. Same thing in Waterbury. I'm not seeing any pavement there on our traffic camera in Waterbury. That's in the top left corner of your screen. Hartford, I-91 southbound, same thing. I'm not seeing much pavement there. That's a lot of accumulation going on there. And Tolland camera looks like has something going on with it, so we won't look at that just right now. We can also click through some of our iCams here. So here's Windsor Locks. I mean, normally you can see the airport on this camera, and you can't see much aside from maybe one blinking light. If you're a frequent watcher of Channel 3, when we show this camera out at Windsor Locks, this is sort of just beyond the trees here is the apron where the cargo aircraft park. So usually there's like a FedEx jet or two parked there. And then just beyond that is one of the runways at Bradley Airport. A lot of times we can see planes lining up to take off or something like that. But you can tell that visibility there has been reduced quite a bit. And sure enough, we go back to First Alert Live Doppler radar here. You can see one of the heavier bands of snow is moving over the vicinity of Windsor Locks right now. We'll go to Torrington, where it looks like visibility is slightly better there, but you can still see lots of snow there on the ground. What I'm interested to see is our iCam in New Haven, for example. The visibility is not bad across the green there, but there's still lots of snow on the ground. Middletown, though, it is actively snowing, and it is actively snowing hard. And you're seeing that in reduced visibility. So we'll take a look at, if I can spell visibility in the search window, we'll take a look at the visibility map. And you see some places are better than others, but pretty much across the board right now, visibility is down below a mile. The only place where it's really, and look, it even went down below a mile in Danbury just now to 3/4 of a mile. So visibility continues to reduce as we get these heavier bands of snow that move through. And of course, when you combine that with the slick roadways and things like that, that is what can make for some treacherous travel conditions. So what we've kind of been saying all evening, especially after 9 o'clock when some of these heavier bands of snow are moving in, if you don't have to be out on the roadways, your best bet is to settle in and watch us and stream us at home. if you don't have to do any travel. And of course, if you do have to do any travel, take it slow, leave extra space between you and the car in front of you. We know how to drive in the snow, right, here in Connecticut? So here's our snowfall forecast. This has evolved over the last 24 to 48 hours fairly significantly because the track of the area of low pressure shifted northward. Originally, it looked like this, 8 to 12 bullseye that you see on your screen was going to be more over the New York metro area. But once we get closer and closer to an event, we get more of this high-resolution model guidance in, and it shows the track shifting northward for the reason that you just saw on satellite radar. And that is, if we zoom out here, I'll show you once again that area of dry air working into northern New Jersey and the New York metro area. And so that's what was sort of getting picked up on the high-resolution guidance over the last 24 to 48 hours. And the shift of the highest snowfall totals moved north. So 8 to 12 inches across much of western Connecticut. Along the 91 corridor, 6 to 8 inches of snow, Hartford through New Haven. And along the shoreline, 4 to 6 inches of snow the farther west you get. And then it's only once you get to maybe the far north, I said the more northwest you get, the more northeast you get in the state is 4 to 6. The far northeastern corner of Windham County, we have in the 2 to 4, but 2 to 4 inches is mainly Rhode Island through southeastern Massachusetts. So let's step through the timeline of the hours to come here on First Alert Futurecast. We can show you exactly what to expect over the next few hours as you look out your window. 11 p.m. Snow is still ongoing, and we'll be tracking it for you here on Eyewitness News at 10 and 11. We will have live reports. But overnight, once we get past 1 to 2 a.m., notice the heaviest of the snow moves out. Things begin to lighten up a bit. We get more dry air in the mix. We begin to see the snow showers start to dissipate. This is going to be key heading toward 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. As this storm pulls away, things lighten up, and the activity will really lighten up around sunrise. So by the time you wake up tomorrow, the vast majority of the snow will have already fallen, aside from maybe a few isolated snow showers. And then we'll see some peaks of sunshine even by tomorrow afternoon. So not looking too bad tomorrow afternoon and for the first part of the day on Sunday as well. So as a reminder, the biggest impacts with Winter Storm Abraham overnight tonight will be the heavy snow, poor visibility, and hazardous travel. But one thing we're a bit less concerned about is power outages. And that's because the wind gusts are actually not as much of a concern right now. The wind gusts really aren't going to be a huge deal with this storm. And in addition, because this is the light sort of fluffy snow, as opposed to the heavy wet snow, that actually helps us in that it reduces the power outage risk. So I'm actually going to check right now because I'm curious, and this is the fun of being on the live stream, is if we're curious about something, we can just go check on it for you. I can't share my screen, so you'll have to believe me when I say this, but Eversource right now says only about 177 customers in Connecticut are affected by power outages, which is good news because that's because the wind gusts aren't that bad and the snow is the light fluffy snow. And we talk about light fluffy snow versus heavy wet snow, and we were doing explainers on this earlier on. What exactly does that mean? How can we tell? As meteorologists, what is heavy wet snow versus, light fluffy snow? What does that mean? It has to do with something called a snow to liquid ratio, or we affectionately call it the fluff factor. And I want you to picture this. You take a certain amount of the snow that's fallen in your backyard just now, and you take it inside your house in a glass of water or whatever, and you melt it down. Scoop it. I mean, you can try this right now. If you have an empty cup in your house, scoop some snow and melt it down. And you will see that it melts down to a lot less than the actual amount of snow that you got, right? So, and there's ways of doing this properly to get a proper measurement. But in general, if the temperature were around 30 degrees
If you were to melt down 10 inches of snow, you'd get about an inch of liquid water. In other words, if it were warmer and we were looking at a rain event, it would be about an inch of rain as opposed to 10 inches of snow. Again, that's if the temperature is around 30 degrees. If it gets any warmer than that, you get a heavier, wetter snow. And look at on the bottom, you can see the corresponding weights here. Typical snow weighs about 10 pounds for every cubic foot. Wet snow weighs about 20 pounds per cubic foot. That can cause a huge amount of stress on the power lines, the power poles, the tree limbs. And a lot of times those type of storms come with a lot of wind too. And that's just not good news in terms of power outages, trees down, things like that. But that's not what we're dealing with today. What we're dealing with today is temperatures in the 20s, closer to this 18 degrees. Okay? So look at the 18 degrees on your left-hand side. If you were to take and melt down to get 1 inch of water, you would need 20 inches of snow to melt to get 1 inch of water. That's the drier snow, the light, fluffy stuff we call it. That only weighs about 3 pounds per cubic foot. And so that's why we're not seeing as much of an impact with Winter Storm Abraham as we are maybe a different storm where the temperatures were closer to freezing. And speaking of temperatures, you want to take, you don't have to take my word for it. I'll show you. Temperatures are in the teens out there right now. I said it was a bit warmer. I was speaking off of old data. It is 18 in Windsor Locks. It is 18 in Tolland. It's even cooler than that up through Litchfield County right now. And we're even sitting in the 20s along the shoreline where it's a bit warmer. So across the board, we are well below freezing. And these are the type of conditions that lend themselves more to the light, fluffy snow. One side effect of the light, fluffy snow is it also inflates the snowfall totals a little bit. And so that's why another reason why totals have come up over the last 24 hours or so. So again, we have a proud tradition here at Channel 3 of naming winter storms. We've been doing so since all the way back in 1971 when we were the Travelers Weather Service. The meteorologists worked for both Travelers, the insurance company, and Channel 3, putting those forecasts out on television. And they started naming winter storms. For most of Connecticut, we need at least 6 inches of snow for most of the state to be considered a named winter storm. The other option is half an inch or more of ice accretion for most of Connecticut, and we're not dealing with any ice with this storm, thank goodness, because obviously that can cause a whole, talk about power outage risk with ice. And so this is the first named storm of the season, Winter Storm Abraham. As Mark mentioned, we've had a number of name themes over the years. I mean, everything from popular music artists to trees to birds to first ladies. So lots of different fun names. And we thought it would be fun this year. It was actually, credit to Mike Slifer, it was his idea, that we would do winter storm names based off of presidents. And so our 2025-2026 winter storm names are the first names of presidents, of course, because coming up in July of 2026 is the 250th birthday of our nation. So Winter Storm Abraham, of course, for President Lincoln. The next storm we have would be Winter Storm Benjamin for Benjamin Harrison. Then Winter Storm Calvin for Calvin Coolidge, and Winter Storm Dwight for Dwight D. Eisenhower. So it's a fun tradition we have here at Channel 3, and this is the first one of the season. So we'll see how far we get in this list. If we get past 4, we may need to add more names. Hopefully, knock on wood, that we don't get past 4 storms that bring 6 inches or more of snowfall to the state. So we'll take another look at some live cameras right now. I showed this quad box earlier on. Let's go to Old Saybrook. Oh, seeing a bit of a breeze there, but nothing too bad. Notice the winds have sort of picked up a little bit along the shoreline. Nothing too bad, but the visibility is down. Here's New Haven once again, the Christmas tree there. Here's our Hartford iCam. You can see visibility is down there as well. So the snow is moving through, and we will continue to keep you updated, of course, on air and online. We're going to keep this stream going for a little while, and we will also have reports coming up on our newscasts at 10 and 11. For now, I'd like to welcome back Chief Meteorologist Mark Dixon.
Here we go.
Here we go, and we have new information.
Yeah, so we're getting pictures lined up through our producers for our 10
Okay.
o'clock and 11 o'clock newscast.
Sounds great.
And if, again, you guys have anything you want to share with us, weather3@wfsb.com is the email address, or through the weather app. You can send those pictures. Now, I know you had some totals. You mentioned 7.5 from New Milford.
Yep.
6.5 Meriden, as well as from Waterbury. 6-inch totals coming in from Southington, Madison, and Guilford, now up to the 6-inch mark as well.
I mean,
so
think about it. These really fell in the span of what, 4 hours?
Yeah, that's impressive.
So, I mean, just take the average of that. That's more than an inch an hour in all of these places. And that doesn't even account for the instantaneous snow bands that could be even more than that, 2, even close to 3 inches per hour.
And I think you maybe talked about this a little bit. A little bit of a dry slot to our west.
Yeah, a little bit of a dry slot to our south and to our west.
Yeah, so that could fill in a little bit. So as it slides eastward, there's plenty of snow still upstream, south of the Capital District of New York. So
yeah,
it looks, you're looking at this map perhaps from your device, thinking, okay, this isn't going to last much longer, but not really the case.
No, that's
we
not.
have more.
That's
we
not
have
the
more
case.
time to go. So we may see it taper off a little bit, but then fill back in. But it's not until after midnight that we'll really start to see any sort of like marked decrease in coverage and intensity of any sort of like meaningful nature. All right, so it is now 9:36. In case you're joining us here on WFSB Plus, also on our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for checking us out, keeping you up to date here on Winter Storm Abraham. Our first major statewide plowable event of the 2025-26 winter season. Yeah, here it is, a little post-Christmas, pre-New Year event for us. And coming up, we've got another event. Did you talk about Sunday night at all?
I did not talk about Sunday
All right.
night. That is all you.
We can talk about Sunday night here in just a moment. So I know Tyler went through some of these quad boxes, but they really tell quite a story. All of these are from Fairfield County, so all on 95. So showing the snow-covered roads. Fortunately, it looks like everyone is heeding the advice and traveling at least slowly. Doesn't seem to be any sort of major backups due to any sort of accidents, at least from these vantage points. So we'll take you elsewhere across Connecticut, and these are farther inland now. We've got Waterbury, upper left-hand corner. Fortunately, not a lot of volume there. Same from Danbury along 84, farther west from Waterbury. And then we've got 91 south there in Hartford. So all of those, all of the lanes certainly covered in snow. Visibility has improved a little bit. And then even Tolland there, you can see on 84 up near exit 68, we've got snow-covered roads. So snow statewide. And that snow really adding up again in some locations. And the snow certainly reducing visibility when it's coming down at that quicker pace. So certainly less than 1 mile visibility almost statewide. The exception's Putnam as the heaviest of the snow just now beginning to work into that corner of the state. And look at these temperatures. Tyler was just talking about this. The cold air, the dryness of the air allowing for that large ratio, liquid to snow ratio. So the big fluff factor. So again, a couple silver linings to this winter storm. We don't have a whole lot of wind to contend with. And furthermore, when it comes to snow removal tomorrow morning, it's not the heavy, wet snow. This is light and fluffier snow. And a check of First Alert Live radar. And we've got this lapsing, I believe this is 30 minutes, showing the progression of those deeper blues pivoting into eastern and central Connecticut, away from western Connecticut. But again, snow will fill back in after perhaps a little bit of a lull, a little dry slot there, heading into the lower Hudson Valley of New York. So First Alert Futurecast, as we head toward midnight, you can see in toward daybreak tomorrow how any steady statewide snow tapers to lighter, scattered, if not isolated snow showers by around 7 o'clock in the morning. And then after that, we'll see some at least partial clearing through the course of the afternoon. So early tomorrow morning, you'll need the winter coat because temps will still be in the 20s. The gloves, the hat, the scarves, layer up to do your snow removal. And maybe take a couple turns at doing that, just depend upon how much snow you have to remove. The greatest totals likely, again, realized across western Connecticut, where we're already getting some pretty impressive totals. New Milford there along Route 7 and the New York border, 7.5 inches so far already. So these totals will continue to go up a little bit more as we head through this evening. So while this is all snow for us tonight, This active weather pattern continues, getting to First Alert Futurecast here, a little bit wider view to talk about what's going to happen later this weekend. By tomorrow afternoon, we'll see some partial clearing, and temperatures top out near 30, if not low 30s. As we get into Sunday, we'll start off dry and bright. Cloud cover increases later in the day. We're dry through the daylight hours, but it's what happens thereafter, say between 7 and 11. We're going to have some cold air at the surface and some milder air working in a loft with this upcoming storm system that essentially is going to be taking a mild track relative to Connecticut. It's just at the onset, there could be a little icy mix. You can see there between 7 and 11, and then thereafter, trending a little bit milder. And on Monday, we've got several waves of rain, but temperatures on Monday that head into the 40s. So we'll show you that First Alert 7-day forecast, in fact, right now. So tomorrow morning, lingering isolated snow showers will be wrapping up. And then later Sunday, so a little window of time as one system exits and our next one arrives. But this next one will be kind of an icy mix to begin and then go over to rain later in the day. And then got rain on Monday, highs in the 40s. And look at Tuesday, we're back sub-freezing. So some pretty notable swings in temperature because not only will the air temp be at least 15 degrees colder Tuesday compared to Monday, but when you factor in the wind on Tuesday, it will feel even colder. Wednesday, we close out 2025. We do so on a quiet note. The wind subsides a bit, highs 30 to 35. And then we kick off 2026 on Thursday with highs in the low and mid 30s. And then by a week from now, next Friday, forecasting highs back in the mid and upper 20s. All right, the WFSB First Alert weather app, if you don't have that, it is certainly a great resource. So in a situation like today, you can track on the interactive radar snow as it overspreads Connecticut. You can get hour-by-hour forecasts, updated video forecasts from us here at Channel 3, and as well any sort of alerts that are issued for your location. If it is a winter weather advisory, if it's a winter storm warning.
Speaking of the app, by the way.
Yes.
A great app to download, not just the First Alert weather app, but our own Channel 3 app. Just into our newsroom, around 15 cars involved in pileup due to weather in Waterbury.
Oh, boy.
And so we're already beginning to see some of the impacts there. And what was the report from Waterbury? 6 inches?
6 inches in Waterbury.
Yeah.
So this is just one camera view, but this is 84 westbound at Chase Parkway, upper left-hand corner. So obviously not captured
even
here.
the highways, which are usually treated very well. I mean, the roads are covered in snow there. So you can only imagine maybe what the secondary roads are looking like.
Yeah. Secondary, I mean, getting on and off exit ramps, exit ramps to interstates, the secondary, tertiary roads. So I'm wondering, because we're not seeing any traffic go in one direction, if it's on the other side of the accident.
Oh, I'm wondering.
That we're looking at from 84. So yeah, is it 15 car?
15 car pileup was what the push notification said.
I'm going to click that, I'm going to tap that and see if we can learn some more from this.
Just another reason to download the free First Alert weather app and our own Channel 3 app.
Yeah, so this happened, about 2 hours ago. To the area of Wall Street and Crosby Street. 2 people transported to the hospital, no injuries reported. Snow and steep hill on Water Street were contributing factors to the pileup.
So we got another update.
Okay.
Katie Cohen, a reporter and a photojournalist, are there right now, and they say the scene is clear.
Okay. So good.
Hopefully,
good news there.
No or minimal injuries as a result, but still something scary to see, and it just goes to show you how, when conditions deteriorate quickly like this, and travel conditions deteriorate, this is what can result, unfortunately.
All right, so I think this is a good time to take a break. We're going to regroup. We've got eyewitness news at 10 o'clock on the wax coming up. We've just got a new update here in that upper left-hand corner, westbound 84 Highland Street overpass. You can see, again, that car trying to get onto 84. Couple cars.
Looks like there's some kind of flashing lights off in the distance there. I don't know if that's emergency vehicles or
and like there's a stranded car on the right side too. So it's just, not a good time to be out on our roads if they're even the main thoroughfares. Certainly snow covered and treacherous tonight. All right, so we'll regroup right now. We'll take a break. We'll see you for Eyewitness News at 10 o'clock on the Wax, which also streams on WFSB Plus, and then of course on Channel 3 at 11.